Good morning, Humanity Healing, and my beloved family around the world. It's a joy to be here with you for my first talk of 2019. I know I'm a minute early, so I'll wait for people to gather. Good morning, Michelle. I loved your video from Texas yesterday. That was a lovely walk with you. So as we all begin to gather, I just open the field of resonance here with my heart, my light, my love, my peace. And thank you all for being here. Good morning, Renee. Good morning, Rebecca. So today's topic, as I arose this morning, which is I don't usually plan what I'm going to speak on until just before the show. So what you're receiving is by a part of myself that taps into the energies of the day, the energies of the world, and comes from my heart. The topic was grace and harmony. And those were the first two words that hit me this morning as I entered into the field of social media. And I can't tell you why, but they stuck with me. And I said, okay, today is about a talk about grace and harmony. But it's also a day of celebrating the element air. And perhaps some of you know or may not know, there's an ongoing 7-day gathering on social media called 7 Days of Rest and Reflection. And this is their second annual gathering. And what they do is gather people who wish to participate from around the world from different aspects and teachings to share videos, to come together in resonance and talk about the elements. And so the element today is air. I'm a practicing part of that because I'm a council member of a group called Loving Waters. And so we do a video every day, and we'll do that for the 7 days. And you can find all of them, both 7 Days of Rest and Loving Waters, on Facebook, and also they have websites. I'm not here to advertise that, but it was the element of air that I believe called to me this morning. And so with those first two words being grace and harmony, I started typing, and I haven't read what is before me because I always like to explore it with you. And so as we deepen our hearts and open our hearts, let's begin. So grace and harmony expressed this morning as each one representing an aspect of ourselves that we sometimes find quite evasive. And when I think about the word evasive, it's something we want to always attract, but somehow is always somewhere just a little beyond our reach, or we will tap into it and it will slowly dissipate, and it doesn't seem that we can hold on to grace and harmony for any length of time. And so what that expresses is that these are sometimes flowing and sometimes not flowing. And I was reminded that these are also like the spiritual aspects of ourselves, and that grace is really defined as a simple elegance or refinement of movement. And in religious belief, it is the favor of God. Harmony represents, outside of musical instruments, it's considered agreement and accord. And as I look back at 2018, I realized how many times grace and harmony would appear, and then I would always be chasing it. So it was quite vaporous. And so the vaporousness of it is the air element. And there's a part of us that's the air element. And we may not even be consciously aware of it. And I know this morning I've deepened my thinking about the air element. I am. And so what I thought about is that in this world today that is so factionalized, and that was the word that came, factionalized, where everything seems to be at odds with each other. How do we, as spiritual beings, begin to function at a higher level than we have been? Because it's particularly falling on our shoulders to rise. So air rises, air moves. It's not seen sometimes, it's not heard sometimes, and yet at others it is. It's this amazing ability to be a force, but gentle, and yet when it needs to be tremendously powerful. And so that's what I'm thinking about this morning. And as I tapped into that, I thought about the clouds. I looked out the window and thought about the clouds and how they're perhaps a good representation of how we are to move and have our being in the year 2019. Many storms come, very ferocious storms, but slowly they dissipate and move on. Some days the skies are empty, there are no clouds, yet air, the element air, is present. Each of us are part of the element air. We breathe in this air. Without breathing in this air, we don't function in a physical form. We have a relationship to it where it is around us, and yet it is within us in each breath. And so when we breathe out and exhale, we are creating clouds. We can't see them. But I remember when I used to smoke, you'd inhale and you'd take your smoke and you'd blow out and you'd make these clouds. Sometimes you would exaggerate them just because you could. And so again, as I look towards 2019, I hear the air talking to us. Be the wind. Be seen, be heard. Be not seen and heard, but show up. Become a life force. Become a life force for humanity that will bring them to a place where they may be able to embrace grace and harmony at a greater level. This is how each of us, which are such amazing beings, can work gently and not call a great attention to ourselves, because many of us are fearful of being seen, fearful of being heard, fearful of speaking the truth of our hearts, mainly because we've been ridiculed since childhood, or we've been told, you can't say that, you can't do that, according to our rituals and our rules. That's not acceptable. And in this coming year of 2019, it's a challenge for us to say, wait a minute. I'm going to sit in the space between all of this. I'm going to deepen my relationship with myself. I'm going to become the air within me, within my body, within my cells. There's air. It oxygenates. When we breathe, it oxygenates our whole body. Some of us take herbs and waters and products to increase our oxygenation. And in doing that, we feel more alive. People say, well, it gives me more power and energy. But it really just makes you feel more alive and present here during this beautiful time of revelation, a revealing of who we are and how we are to act and listen and work with each other in co-creation. And so that's, as I begin the year 2019, and we all do, I look at my page here, and it's funny, I'm not even reading half of what I wrote, which is perfect. And I knew when I wrote all of that was just going to be a prelude to what I was going to talk about. It was just the background. Some of it very wonderful, and I will probably post it all on my blog. But the key is how are we interacting with each other? What are we doing? And as I came upstairs, sorry about the light. I'm not sorry about the light. The light is beautiful. I tried to block it, but as it moves, it's shining very brightly, and that's okay. I don't need to be seen. Being heard is quite enough. So this book called Buddhist Acts of Compassion, I opened it randomly, and I want to read this to you because it's interesting that this appeared as well out of the field this morning as I was just preparing to be here with each of you. Loving kindness is the wish that others will experience happiness and find the causes of this happiness. All beings long for happiness, but hardly any achieve it. So to wish them as much happiness as possible, and to wish that they may find the causes of happiness, is called loving kindness. Loving kindness has immeasurable qualities. If you have this love deep within your being, you naturally benefit others. And there is no way that any kind of evil influence can harm you. For compassion is the most powerful weapon against negative forces. And that was written by Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche. Loving kindness harmony, grace. Interesting how out of the field of nothingness, which we look at as air, these messages arise for each of us as we come together this morning. One heart, one love, one humanity healing. At the top of the page, there is a card I pulled, and I wrote what the card was. It was very, very brief. It says, "The great mind of God knows the answers to my problems before I ever ask." How true is that? Find that within your own life and know that what we do and who we are is always on display. Whether we're on a Facebook Live call or whether we're in the grocery store, we are always seen. And it's time now to be heard as well. And it's also time for us to express loving kindness to each other and to assist each other to find grace and harmony for longer periods of time than just a couple of moments. This is each of our responsibilities, not just mine. I have been gifted with this opportunity to be here with you, but so too you have an opportunity to be somewhere and express your heart, because that's all I'm doing. These messages are not arising because I have some great wisdom, although it is great wisdom. I'm just showing up and trusting that, yes, that which we call God knows my every move before I make it. So why not make them together? Trust that higher part of ourselves that is there and move into a new space where we can harmonize and balance the troubles that are occurring in the world. So we need to become more like air, a mixture of gases which has both weight and takes up space. However, an advantage is that it can be compressed and expanded. And so part of 2019, I feel for all of us, is going to be this compression and expansion. But it's better if we make it a choice of our own and become aware of it so that it's not directed by others, but when we see something that's really negative happening, we can compress ourselves, bring our energy fields in, hold the space, and when that negative energy is passed, rise again. We don't have to go to war. We do not have to fight. We do not have to be in fear. What we need to do is learn how better to utilize the beautiful energy that we are. I want you to take a deep breath. Inhale. Feel your lungs expand. Feel your abdomen expand. Bring it right down into your abdomen. And then release it. This is air. As we attract the element air and all of its beautiful properties, we expand. And the message here is to find things that want to make you expand. Each one of us are unique. Each one of us have different interests. And I've lost my sidebar, so I can't see you. Okay. So each one of us have these things that fill us with life and fill us with energy and the willingness to go and be seen, doing and accomplishing. So take that deep breath in, sit with that, and then express it. So too, as we exhale, what are we doing? We're releasing and preparing for the next incoming breath. Much like waves, one wave after another, one breath after another. This is how we are to go through 2019. One breath at a time. With the element of air teaching us how we can be seen or not seen and yet heard, or seen and not heard, how we can move obstacles, no matter how sturdy and strong they are. We make trees sway in the wind. We can become tornadoes. It's wind. It's air. How powerful is air? And how many of us have not ever felt the expression of air within us, other than being called a big bag of wind, which, or you talk too much. And so you see, we have an effect. We have an effect. And it's learning how to dance in that wind and dance in that air and become lighter than air on our feet, as the dance instructors would say. You want to become lighter than air. So as in all life, we have things that upset our energetic fields. And we should be able to maintain that constant connection and be able to focus simply on breathing to get us through. I remember my ex-wife had agoraphobia, and she couldn't leave the bedroom. She was so impaired with this horrible evil thing. And when she would go into anxiety, deep anxiety, the remedy back in the day was just take a brown paper bag and breathe into the bag. The remedy was breathing. The medicine was air. Funny how that just came through to me. And so too, here's the message of air. I am the medicine. I am the constant medicine. I am the constant flow of all which you need. Deepen your relationship into me. Feel me in every breath. Know that I surround you no matter where you are. Deepen your relationship to me. I will not ever fail you. I cannot fail you because I am also within you. And together we have this symbiotic relationship where I need you as much as you need me. Thank you for being here, human being. Know how much you mean to me. Feel me. Taste me. Touch me. I will always be here. And if you listen closely, I will teach you. I will teach you that harmony and grace is all around you. If you allow yourself to create the space within you for it to fulfill its promise to you. Thank you, element air. So that's the message of this morning. And that was a powerful message that came through me in that moment. And I don't usually do that live. So again, as we step out in grace and harmony, we will receive many, many messages from that great mind of God, which dwells within us. And pretty much all we have to do is just show up, let go of the fear, and know that this is the year of change. This is the year of change for all of us. And all we have to do is really just say yes. So many beautiful words I wrote this morning. I didn't read any of them because my heart is open to you. And so I ask you to be open to your heart and know that together we move, together we breathe, together we live, together we love. I wish you all grace and harmony, the ability to become like air. The joke is airy fairy. We've all heard it. Well, airy fairy is not a joke. It's a truth. When we become air, we become stable, a stable aspect of ourselves, which requires great focus to become. But in that focusing, we contract away from all of the things that are bothering us, all of the things that are happening around us, that are creating chaos, both around us and within us. And I know that as we move into 2019, I'm going to add air, as much air as I possibly can, into my life. To be more like air, the wind that shows up and can be felt, seen, and heard and heard. Whether it be the gentle breeze in the trees or the mighty storm that comes across the land. It's our responsibility to become flexible enough to endure whatever comes and whatever any environment has to offer us. With this, I'm complete. I thank you all for being here. I'm sorry I lost the sidebar. I went to the top to read that, and it won't come back. All I have is a little button there that says end live video. And there's a part of me that doesn't want to end the live video. So just know that as this first sort of gathering of our hearts, I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. May the light that shines through my window and through my heart encourage you this year to be more active and more present, not only outside of yourselves, but within the deep resonance of your own hearts. Until next Friday, be at peace, practice loving kindness, and know that we're all here doing this together. Nobody's greater than another. We're just all going to do it uniquely in our own way. I tell people all the time, don't try to be me. I don't want to be you. Be the uniqueness that you are. And respect that uniqueness. And also respect it in each other. With that, I am complete. Love you, and I bless you, and thank you. And may your week be filled with great visions of grace and harmony. Bye-bye.